Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to Wingate Solutions. I hope you're doing well. So I've had a little bit of interest. So today's video is going to be about my current tripod setup. All right, let's get into it. All right, guys. This is going to be a quick review-ish video of the INNOREL RT90C. So this is my current tripod. You can buy these on Amazon, and I don't have any affiliate links or any of that stuff, so you can just look it up. It's the RT90C. INNOREL makes a few different sizes. This is our largest size. So if you were going to use this for hunting, where you're doing longer distance hunting, you're being more mobile and you want to have a tripod with you, I'd recommend a smaller tripod. We're going to give up a little bit of stability. We're going to gain that mobility, just like a lot of things we do in this world, right? So this is probably not going to be the best tripod for somebody that wants to have this in a backpack or ruck it somewhere, unless you're rucking this into a fixed position and that's it, right? So it's great for PRS, great for a lot of hunting. Like, this is a good hunting tripod for me if I'm just hunting on like the back 40, right? And I'm going to be sitting somewhere for a few hours. This thing is amazing because it's stable, and I give up a little bit of the size penalty for that stability, right? So just to kind of get that out of the way, it's a bigger tripod. Got real thick carbon fiber legs on it, really nice adjustments, has 3 adjustment points, and real smooth. I have no issues with these at all, and they have been amazing. I really like this style. A lot of the tripods in the market are switching to this style, the twist and pull method. Real easy to adjust. Little tip, something that I do is on this last one, I put a line at the height that works perfect for me standing. So, and to kind of show you that real quick, I'm 6'4", so taller guy, and this tripod still gets really tall, like taller, pretty much as tall as me. That's just with one leg all the way up. So, right. So if you're like a 7-foot guy, you probably still would be perfectly fine using this tripod. So I actually have it marked about halfway down the last portion, that if I wanted to have a quick pull the other 2 fully out, lock that one down halfway, do that to all 3 legs, and now it's the perfect height for me standing with my rifle locked in, if that makes sense. So a little tip there, because it can be annoying to find that sweet spot. So once you do, I recommend marking it somehow. But yeah, really awesome. I'm not really going to get too much into the how-to and why we're using these tripods. I'll do that in another video where I go over a little more of the techniques as far as how to set them up, how to shoot off them, that sort of thing. I just want to kind of show you that based on this tripod, how long it gets. It's kind of a review. This thing is awesome. Very stable. Obviously, it's got a bigger form factor. It's kind of chunky, and that's a good and a bad thing. Bad if you're expecting this to be a real small form factor that you can pack in a pack and go on a long distance hunt, or if you're in some kind of sniper role that's going to be have you being very mobile on foot. A little bit bigger of a tripod might not be as appropriate for some of those roles. but it's all a give and take of stability versus mobility. So if you want to be more mobile but still have a tripod with you, I'd recommend one of the smaller sized tripods that they make. Good sized tree just fell in the background. I don't know if audio picked it up. But if you just want straight up stability, you're a PRS shooter or you're a stationary hunter where you're not hiking in like miles, or maybe you're a Leo sniper or something like that, this is an amazing tripod because it is very stable and it really packs above its pay grade. So if you look these up, they come in at a fraction of some of the other tripods out there. And that's probably because they're foreign made, as far as I know, but they're coming in at that $300+ price point, which is a fraction of some of the higher end ones. And it's built very similarly to those tripods. If I handed you this one and another one that was painted and had no markings on it, and you're not that familiar with tripods, you probably wouldn't be able to tell much of a difference, if any at all. And if you watch any other videos, or you look at any other research on this brand of tripod, it's nothing but good information, and a lot of people are satisfied with this for the price point. So take that for what it is. So far, I am absolutely loving this tripod, and I know $300+ plus another whatever 100 something, if not more, for a ball head sounds like a lot to a lot of you guys, and it is. I want to think of it relatively. It definitely is. But there are guys out there spending $1,000 to $2,000 on the tripod setups, and that's all going to be based on your end user case on this, right? You're a PRS guy and you get paid to shoot PRS matches, or you're, a sniper that gets the government to buy you stuff. Yeah, you may want to look into those crazy expensive ones. But for the regular guy that wants to get into tripod shooting, this is kind of perfect. And you really can't go much cheaper if you want true stability from a tripod. Now, these things have come a long way in the last 10 years, like tripods in general for shooting, because years ago, it was really only a couple options in the market, like Manfrottos, whether you're getting like an aluminum legged one or spend a lot of money on the carbon fiber. And those things were very prone to breaking and not that stable at the end of the day. It took a lot of technique to shoot well from those tripods. And until I got this, I didn't realize what I was missing when it came to tripod shooting. So take that for what it is. But you really don't want to cheap out if your end result that you're looking for is that, again, max stability for precision work at distance. You really need a stout tripod for that, or you're going to be struggling. You can't cheap out on like a inexpensive camera tripod that's made to hold up like a 10-pound camera, right? You need something that's going to be overbuilt and is easily going to be able to handle your rifle weight, but also the recoil, also just the hard use of using a shooting tripod. So I recommend getting something that has a good weight bearing size to it. Words are hard. So I'm not going to get into the specs of this thing. Look it up on the website. Look up on other people's reviews. I'm not big into just reading off spec sheets. I just want to give you kind of more the end user on this. Obviously, this thing's painted because, like everything, should be rattle canned. But and I don't baby my stuff. These are tools, so they're meant to do the things. So that's why I paint my stuff. Yours isn't going to come looking like this, obviously, and not a big deal if you don't want to paint it either. All right, real quick, we're going to get into my mounting options and then the ball head itself. So I'm a huge fan of running these ARCA style plates. The ARCA plates were originally for cameras, things like that. So the camera community has been using them forever. And they're attached in some crazy expensive cameras via these ARCA plates. So they're proven and they work. And I'm really starting to enjoy them for shooting as well. For years, I used a hog saddle or pig saddle, I forget which one I had, which is the clamp. And those are great. Clamp your rifle in. Great from a hunting perspective, or great from a universal fit perspective, where you just can throw most rifles, as long as they're not too big or too small, into that clamp it down, and you have a relatively stable shooting position. But from my experience, it's not as stable as something like these ARCA plates, because they lock in. There's no rubber that has movement or anything like that. That I found with the hog and pig saddles. They're cool. They have their purpose, but I don't use one anymore because I found these to be way more effective for me. The only negative is you have to obviously mount these on whatever rifles you want to shoot off a tripod, but it's not really that big of a deal. I'm just running a cheapo ARCA adapter at the moment on a bunch of mine because I wasn't sure if I was going to really want to switch over to everything being ARCA. And so far they're working fine. I actually haven't had a reason to upgrade to like a better quality, like USA made one. I'm just running some cheap like Amazon ones, and they're perfectly fine for now. For me, I don't know if I'll trust them long term, but yeah, they've been great. They're mounted with 3 screws, so even if one fails, I still have 2 more that should be holding on, and I haven't had any fail yet, so take it for what it is. So cheap ARCA plates, but that is not that big of a deal, in my opinion. And then this one just has some kind of ARCA adapter, so obviously this kind of dovetails in, and then it's just a matter of twisting that, and the rifle's locked in. Like, it's not going anywhere, especially shooting something like this. I'm not shooting like 50 BMG off this. This is going to be perfectly fine, which is cool. Some of these will have a throw lever. That would be a better design as far as getting the rifle locked in with speed. But even this one, like a quick turn and I'm out. And then same thing for plopping it in there, kind of getting it started and torquing it down real quick, and I'm locked in. So I really like these ARCA mounts. They're great. Other things guys are doing are putting shooting rests on top of their tripods. Those work really well, especially for speed, as far as getting on it and just going to work. You're not as stable as far as leaving the rifle attached to that because it's just a rest, or some kind of plate with a bag on it. Those are really great and have a purpose as well. This is better if you're trying to just lock the rifle in, or if you're hunting or doing something where you want to be hands-free. Maybe you're on binos, maybe you're doing something else, working on a dope card, whatever it is. It's nice to have the rifle be locked in. I can kind of put it wherever I want it, lock it, and then I can move away from it, or whatever, for whatever reason, go hands-free, right? So I absolutely love using these ARCA mounts, and I'd recommend trying it if you're getting into tripods. So ball heads themselves, so this is on a ball. That's why it's able to pivot wherever and then be locked down. This is just an older Manfrotto one. I don't have a model number for it or anything. I'm not really getting into the specifics on that. It's just an old Manfrotto with a very simple lever. And I like it because I can have it go from loose to tight in one quick movement. It also has a lever for pan. If you just want to have it move side to side, you can also lock that down fairly easily as well, or leave it at kind of a sweet spot where it moves just a little bit. I like that. That kind of helps, especially if you're not perfectly on target. It gives you a little more movement still. But ball heads are awesome. Some way to quickly adjust, get on target, and then lock the rifle in is recommended for sure. All right. So this is an INNOREL product as well. It's their ball head. It's the N52. And I'll swap it out in a second and show you this one. Just want to kind of show you the form factor between these two. This one's INNOREL one compared to the Manfrotto is really cool because it is way smaller. As far as shorter, it still has, as far as I can see, the same size ball head itself, but it's got a shorter neck to it and an overall smaller footprint, and that is really cool. And it's cool because it's INNOREL. This is INNOREL. They're the same company. If you want to have just same company for your whole tripod setup, this works. It also has the integrated ARCA mount, so you don't have to buy that separately. It comes on here, and it's somewhere in the $100-ish range, so it's not overly expensive. So I'll get into how to shoot from a tripod, or make some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way in another video. For right now, this is more of just that review on what I'm using currently. So I'm going to get into this N52 from INNOREL, this ball head. It is cool. I like the form factor of it. It's shorter and a little bit lighter weight than my Manfrotto one that I've had forever. My only 2 cons of this one are the actual knobs are small. To get in and out of the ARCA plate, it's a little bit small. Not that big of a deal for me. It's just not as chunky, so it takes a little bit more finesse to get it tightened down. And if that's a concern for you and you really want to be fast in and out of this, I would recommend one of the quick detach levers from another company as far as the ARCA female plate goes. That's recommended. It's not really that big of a deal for me on this one. It just is a little bit smaller than the one I have on my Manfrotto, so I noticed a little bit of a difference. And then the actual adjustment for the ball head is kind of small, and it's not as quick. It's not like a nice quarter turn, like locked to unlocked. It really has a little more of a spectrum as far as tightening and loosening. Like I can really manipulate this until I get it really locked in. And finding that sweet spot could be a pain, where you might tighten it down, think it's tight, and right now it is pretty tight, but then a little bit of weight, depending on your rifle, it can come off target or move on you and you're not realizing it. And that can be a problem depending on the stability of the terrain you're at, or how you actually have this set up. Because the last thing you want is your whole tripod falling over when you're reaching down in your bag or something, then your expensive glass gets damaged, right? So that's a concern. I'm not saying it makes the product bad. It's just something to think about. You definitely need to twist this and lock it down. It's not a quick locking ball head, if that makes sense. So if that's something you're into, or you really want a better, faster lever, you might want to look into a different one. I still would recommend going with this INNOREL tripod. You're going to have to look into what ball heads other guys are using with this setup. If you are looking to go other options as far as a ball head goes, you can get any ball head that's going to mount pretty much like the standard way. I forget the thread pattern. It'll have it on the website. I'm assuming it's the industry standard size as far as these bigger tripods and ball heads go. And you just put whatever ball head right on here. This is exactly how this comes from Amazon, and you're good. Getting that N52 is definitely going to work, or do a little research and find a different one. Now, another cool thing, and definitely have to go on some of the shooting forums to look this up, is you can get a tripod ball head that'll mount directly to this style of tripod. And there are different sizes, but I think this one is kind of an industry standard, but don't quote me on that. And that is removable like that. There's a clamp and a button, and you would get a ball head that attaches directly into that opening. Pretty cool. That way you're not having to deal with these two pieces together like this. You just get a purpose-built ball head from somebody, lock it into this tripod, and you're good to go. Probably gonna be a little pricier, but something to think about. I went this route on this one because I wanted to try it out, and it works perfectly fine. In the future, like way down the road, if I have money to burn, I might consider getting one of those more purpose-built, like PRS shooting style tripod ball heads to go with this tripod, just to have that little extra edge of like speed of use. But for most people getting into tripods, I think this is going to be a really good setup for you. So anyway, hopefully that wasn't too wordy. Hopefully I answered some questions, just kind of showing you guys my RT90C, the N52 ball head, and then just that old man Frodo with the ARCA adapter that I'm using. It gets the job done for everything I'm using a tripod for. And I will do some more content of actual use coming up. So if there's anything specific you want to see, let me know. Throw them down in the comments. All right, guys, this is going to conclude the video on my current tripod setup. I really appreciate you watching all the way through. If you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing and hit that like button. Comment down below. I really enjoy reading it. And share this with your buddies if you have guys that are in this sort of thing. And if you want to support us in any other way, please consider checking out our website. Link in the description. We have handmade by myself and my wife minimalist 2-point rifle slings, sling retention straps, and we got some other stuff that's on the way. So if you want to support us like that, go over there and check us out. I really appreciate it. And all right, till next time, guys, get out and train.